Eli Morgan had been a mechanic all his life. He was not young anymore. His hair was gray and his hands were rough from years of working with engines, wires, and metal. He had seen ships of every kind, big ships, small ships, human ships, and even some experimental machines that had come from other countries. But nothing he had ever seen prepared him for what lay deep under the ocean, hidden for thousands of years. The call came early in the morning. Eli was sitting on the porch of his small house near the docks, drinking coffee, when his old friend Admiral Henry Clark called. "Eli, I know you are the only one who can help us," Clark said. His voice sounded serious. "We have found something unusual at the bottom of the Mariana Trench. A wreck, not a normal ship. It's unlike anything our Navy has seen before." Eli put down his coffee and looked out at the calm water. He had expected a simple repair job, maybe a rusted old submarine or a test ship gone wrong. But Clark's tone told him this was bigger. "I'm old, Henry," Eli said. "I've seen a lot of strange things, but underwater and alien. You know my eyes aren't what they used to be." "I know, Eli, but we need your hands and we need your mind. This is important. You can be at the research ship by tomorrow morning." Eli nodded, more out of respect for Clark than belief that he could make a difference. That night he packed his tools, old and worn, along with notebooks filled with his sketches and ideas. He had been working for decades, and much of what he had learned came from experience, not from books or digital databases. That experience had taught him things others often missed. The next day, Eli arrived at the research ship, a massive Navy vessel called the Horizon. Navy engineers were already there, checking instruments and equipment. Eli was introduced to the team, which included Tommy Green, a young and eager engineer, and Linda Harper, a brilliant scientist who specialized in underwater technology. Tommy shook Eli's hand quickly. "I hear you've worked on a lot of strange machines," he said. There was a hint of doubt in his tone, almost like he didn't fully believe Eli could help. "I've worked on enough machines to know when something is alive and when it's just a pile of metal," Eli replied calmly. Linda smiled politely, but did not say much. She seemed polite but cautious. She had heard about Eli from Clark and respected his experience, though she was used to modern tools and computer systems, which made her confident that human skill alone could not match technology. The Horizon sailed through calm waters for hours. Eli spent the time walking the decks, looking out at the sea and thinking about what they might find. He had been told the wreck was massive, bigger than any human ship, and the sonar scans had shown strange patterns. Some of the readings did not make sense. Finally, the ship slowed, and the wreck appeared on the screens. It was dark and jagged, lying broken at the bottom of the trench. The metal was strange, with a color that Eli had never seen before. Its shape was alien, but somehow elegant, like it had been designed with care, not just for function, but for beauty. Tommy leaned over the console. "It's impossible to know what it is," he said. "It's not human. The materials don't match anything we have. It's probably dead." Eli frowned. "Dead, maybe. But that doesn't mean it's useless. I want to see it up close." Linda looked at him, a little frustrated. "Eli, the ship is old, probably unstable. The Navy has plans to study it remotely. You shouldn't risk going down there." Eli shook his head. "Remote sensors only tell you what you want to see. You need hands-on experience to understand something like this. I can feel things through touch that no computer can read." After some argument, the Navy agreed to let Eli go with a small submersible. Tommy rolled his eyes but did not protest too much. Linda still looked uneasy. Eli stepped into the submersible, a small, reinforced capsule with large windows. He felt the familiar comfort of being surrounded by metal and instruments he could understand. The crew lowered the submersible into the deep, and slowly the wreck came into view. It was larger than Eli imagined. The hull was cracked in places, and strange symbols were etched into the surface. They glowed faintly in colors that seemed alive. The wreck did not look abandoned. It looked as if it had been waiting for someone. Eli reached out with his gloved hand, touching the hull. A shiver ran through him. It was cold, but not lifeless. There was energy here. Something was still inside, but it was hidden. He moved carefully, inspecting the surface. He found panels that looked like doors, wires that seemed like veins, and strange patterns that pulsed faintly. He traced his fingers over the symbols, and a small light flickered. "Did you see that?" Eli whispered into his radio. Tommy's voice came back, slightly impatient. "See what? It's just a flicker. Old metal, old circuits." "No," Eli said firmly. "It's responding. Someone built this to respond, maybe to touch, maybe to thought, but it's waiting for someone." Hours passed, and Eli continued to explore. He found access points that the Navy instruments had ignored, small cracks that revealed interior corridors, and doors that seemed jammed for centuries. He sketched everything in his notebook. He noted patterns and symbols that he could recognize from his years of mechanical work, even if he didn't know their exact meaning. Back on the horizon, the crew began to grow impatient. "Why is he still down there?" Tommy asked. "There's nothing to see. It's just a wreck." Linda tried to calm him. "Give him time. He's experienced. He knows what he's doing." Eli finally found a panel that looked like a control room. It was buried under centuries of grime and salt. Using his tools, he carefully removed the coverings and exposed a set of alien interfaces. The controls were unlike anything he had seen, but the mechanisms made sense. He could feel the logic behind them. "Interesting," he murmured to himself. "They built this like a human machine, but more." He connected a small portable power source and gently activated the systems. Lights flickered, and the hum of energy filled the room. Eli felt a vibration under his feet, a heartbeat-like pulse. Back on the horizon, Tommy and Linda heard the hum through the submersible's audio feed. Tommy frowned. "It's just an electrical discharge," he said, but his voice wavered slightly. Eli leaned close to one panel and pressed a symbol. The lights responded. They moved in a pattern like a greeting. Eli felt a chill. "This ship, it knows I'm here," he said softly. Suddenly, a voice, barely audible, came through the submersible's speakers. It was low, melodic, and almost human. "Eli Morgan." Eli froze. His heart raced. He had not expected a voice. He repeated his own name in disbelief. "Did you hear that?" he whispered into the radio. The Horizon crew was stunned. Tommy's jaw dropped, and Linda's eyes widened. That's impossible," Linda said. "I heard it," Eli said. "It spoke my name. It knows me." The ship pulsed again, the lights dancing across the corridors. Panels shifted, and a hatch slowly opened. The submersible shook slightly as if the ship were breathing. Eli realized that this wreck, this ancient, abandoned ship, was alive in some way. Tommy tried to stay rational. "It's a malfunction, or maybe some chemical reaction in the metal. That's all. Don't get carried away." Eli shook his head. "No, it's not a malfunction. It's waiting for someone who understands it. And somehow, it chose me." Linda finally nodded, her respect for Eli growing. "We might have underestimated you, Eli. This isn't just old metal. This is something extraordinary." Eli moved carefully, examining the ship's inner mechanisms. He could feel the intelligence behind every panel, every wire, every symbol. It was not human, yet it had logic that he could understand. It was alive, but in a way he had never imagined. Hours passed, and the sun set on the horizon. Eli worked quietly, ignoring the cold and the darkness. He cleaned circuits, reconnected wires, and gently coaxed systems awake. Each time he touched a panel, it responded, as if grateful for his care. By the end of the day, Eli had done more than anyone expected. He had awakened small systems, reactivated lights, and restored a pulse of energy to the wreck. It was still far from fully awake, but it had recognized him. The Horizon crew gathered around, watching Eli work in awe. Even Tommy, once skeptical, could not hide his amazement. "Maybe we were wrong," Tommy said quietly. "Maybe you were right. Maybe this ship, it is alive." Eli smiled, but it was a serious smile. "It's alive, yes, but not in the way you think. It's waiting for someone who understands it. That someone is me. Or maybe it's humanity. We'll see." As the Horizon sailed back to the surface, Eli continued to study the wreck through the submersible. He knew this was only the beginning. The ship had chosen him, and he had a feeling it had a message that could change everything. For the first time in years, Eli felt a spark of excitement he had not felt since he was a young mechanic. This was no ordinary wreck. This was a ship that remembered, a ship that could think, and perhaps a ship that could speak. And Eli Morgan was the one it had called. Eli Morgan could not stop thinking about the ship. Even as the Horizon sailed back toward the surface, his mind stayed with the wreck deep under the ocean. The strange hum, the lights that pulsed like a heartbeat, and most of all, the voice that had spoken his name. All of it stayed with him. He knew this ship was not like anything humans had ever seen. It was alive, in a way that went beyond metal and circuits. Tommy Green and Linda Harper were still on edge. Tommy had spent the entire trip back staring at the screens, replaying the recordings of the submersible. He could not explain what they had seen. He wanted to call it a malfunction, a trick of the metal or the ocean currents. But deep down, he knew that was impossible. Linda, though more composed, was equally unsettled. She had worked with alien technology before, but this wreck was different. There was intelligence here, and it had chosen Eli. That much was clear. She watched him quietly, noting how focused he was, how carefully he examined every detail on the submersible's instruments. "Eli," Linda said finally, breaking the silence, "we need to talk about what happened down there. What exactly did you hear?" Eli looked at her. "It called my name, Linda. Not once, but more than once. I think it recognized me, or maybe it was waiting for someone like me, someone who knows machines, who understands how they work." Tommy scoffed lightly. "Machines don't call people by name. That's science fiction." Eli shook his head. "I don't think so. I've worked on machines that seem to have a mind of their own, yes, but this is different. This is not just a machine. It has memory. It can respond. And it can choose." Linda leaned closer to the instruments. "So you think it's alive? Really alive?" Eli nodded. "Yes, but not alive like a human or an animal. Alive like a thought, like it has intelligence. And I think it's waiting for something. Or someone." The Horizon reached the surface as the sun began to rise. The Navy crew gathered on deck, curious about what Eli had found. There was talk of sending drones, more sensors, and even divers to explore further. But Eli knew that no drone could do what he could do. Only human hands, human understanding, could wake the ship fully. That night, Eli could not sleep. He stayed in his small cabin, going over his notes, drawings, and sketches. He traced patterns in the symbols, tried to understand the logic of the ship's systems, and planned his next move. He knew that if he wanted to awaken the ship fully, he would have to go back down. He would have to enter the wreck itself. The next morning, Eli prepared his equipment. He had tools, lights, and instruments of his own design. Tommy and Linda insisted on coming with him, despite their doubts. The Navy wanted a full record of what they did, and Eli accepted their company. though he knew they would not understand everything. The descent into the trench was slower this time. Eli wanted to observe everything carefully. The deeper they went, the darker it became, until the wreck appeared again, looming like a sleeping giant. Its surface shimmered slightly, reacting to their presence, and the faint glow of symbols could be seen even from the submersible's windows. Eli felt a thrill of excitement. This was the moment he had been waiting for. He guided the submersible toward an entrance he had discovered on his first trip. The hatch opened with a soft click, almost as if the ship recognized him again. He smiled quietly. "See that?" he said to Tommy and Linda. "It knows me." Tommy shook his head, unsure whether to be amazed or terrified. "I still don't believe it." "Just watch," Eli said. "The proof is coming." He maneuvered the submersible into the ship's interior. The corridors were narrow, covered with strange metal panels and symbols that seemed to glow softly. The hum was louder now, and Eli could feel vibrations beneath his feet, like a heartbeat. He moved carefully, touching panels and wires, testing the energy flow. The ship responded to him. Lights shifted, doors moved slightly, and the air seemed to pulse. It was alive, and it was reacting to his presence. Suddenly, a voice spoke. It was clearer this time, deeper and more melodic. "Eli Morgan." Eli froze, listening. The ship repeated his name slowly, deliberately, almost as if greeting him. Linda gasped. "It's speaking to you." Tommy whispered, "I can't believe this. This is impossible." Eli took a deep breath. "It's not impossible. It's alive. And it's recognizing me. I think it wants me to do something." He followed the corridors deeper into the ship. Each panel he touched responded with light and sound. The ship's energy was concentrated in certain areas, and Eli could feel it pulsing like it had a rhythm. He came to a large chamber which seemed to be the control center. Panels of metal and light stretched across the walls, and the symbols glowed more brightly here. Eli reached out and placed his hands on the central console. The ship reacted immediately. Lights flared, and a holographic projection appeared. It showed images of planets, stars, and strange alien cities. Eli realized that the ship contained memories of a civilization long gone. He felt a mixture of awe and responsibility. "Look at this," Eli said to Linda and Tommy. "This is a record. The ship is preserving knowledge. It's not just a ship. It's a library. A guardian." The projections moved, showing cities in construction, people working with machines and ships flying across alien skies. Eli traced the symbols with his fingers, understanding the logic behind them. The ship seemed to respond to his touch, reorganizing the projections and highlighting certain patterns. "This is incredible," Linda whispered. "It's like it's teaching you, or testing you." Eli nodded. "I think it's both. It wants someone who understands, someone who can guide it." Suddenly, the ship spoke again, more clearly this time. "Eli Morgan, you are ready." Eli's heart raced. "Ready for what?" he asked, though he had an idea. He felt a connection forming between him and the ship, as if it trusted him. The ship shifted again, and panels opened to reveal pathways deeper into its structure. Energy flowed through the corridors like a river, guiding Eli toward a central core. He moved carefully, feeling the ship's pulse in every panel, every wire, every symbol. Tommy and Linda followed, equally amazed and nervous. They could feel the energy, though they did not fully understand it. The ship was alive, and it was alive in a way that demanded respect. As they reached the central chamber, Eli saw a massive console, larger than anything he had imagined. It was covered in symbols and panels, with lights pulsing in a rhythmic pattern. He could feel the energy of the ship concentrated here. "This is it," Eli said quietly. "This is the heart." He placed his hands on the console. The lights flared, and the ship responded with a deep hum that filled the chamber. The holographic projections shifted again, showing star maps and energy flows. Eli realized the ship contained technology far beyond anything humans had achieved. "It's showing me how it works," Eli whispered. "Not just what it is, but how it thinks, how it survives, how it can move." The ship spoke again, its voice calm and melodic. "Eli Morgan, you will guide us." Eli nodded, understanding the weight of the responsibility. He was no longer just a mechanic. He was the one the ship had chosen, the one who could awaken its full potential. Over the next hours, Eli worked carefully, connecting circuits, adjusting energy flows, and following the patterns the ship seemed to suggest. The panels responded to his touch, and the ship began to hum more strongly, as if growing in strength. Linda and Tommy watched in awe, realizing that Eli's experience and intuition were what made this possible. No computer, no machine could have done this alone. Only a human mind, patient and careful, could awaken the ship. Finally, after hours of careful work, the ship's core pulsed brightly, and the energy in the room stabilized. The holographic projections became clearer, showing detailed star maps and alien technology schematics. Eli smiled, exhausted, but exhilarated. "It's alive," he said softly. "Fully alive." The ship's voice spoke again, this time with warmth. "Eli Morgan, thank you." Eli felt a shiver run down his spine. He had never felt anything like this. He had worked on machines his entire life. But this was different. This was a living, thinking being, and it had chosen him to awaken it. Tommy finally spoke, his voice filled with awe. I was wrong. You were right. It is alive." Linda nodded. "And it trusts you. We are witnessing something extraordinary." Eli looked at the ship, feeling a deep connection. "This is only the beginning," he said. "We have much to learn. But for now, it knows me, and I know it. That is enough." The ship pulsed once more, a gentle, rhythmic beat that echoed through the chamber. Eli knew that he had crossed a threshold. Humanity had discovered something incredible, and he was at the center of it. For the first time in his life, Eli felt a sense of true purpose. This ship, this living relic of a lost civilization, was alive because he understood it, and together they would show humanity that experience, patience, and understanding could unlock the greatest mysteries of the universe. The horizon returned to the surface. But Eli knew the ship would wait. It had chosen him, and it would not be long before it called again. And when it did, humanity would learn that even in the depths of the ocean, a human hand could awaken a starship, and a single mechanic could bring life to metal that had slept for thousands of years. Eli Morgan could feel the ship's energy all around him. Every panel, every wire, and every glowing symbol seemed to respond to his presence. He had never experienced anything like it. The ship was alive, not in the way humans lived, but in a way that thought, remembered, and waited. It had chosen him. Linda Harper and Tommy Green watched silently as Eli moved through the corridors. They had grown quiet, awed by the strange rhythms and lights of the ship. Tommy could not understand how the old mechanic seemed to know what to do. His hands moved carefully over the alien controls, adjusting wires and circuits, touching symbols, and somehow coaxing responses from the ship. "This is amazing," Linda whispered. "It's like the ship is showing you things, teaching you." Eli nodded without looking up. "Yes, but it's not teaching for fun. It wants to be awakened fully, and I think it has something to show us." They followed Eli deeper into the ship. The corridors became narrower, and the air seemed thicker, as if holding the memory of what had been here long ago. Symbols glowed on the walls, pulsing slowly, guiding them like a heartbeat. Eli felt a strange connection, as if the ship were alive inside him as well. Finally, they reached a larger chamber. It was shaped like a dome, and the walls were covered in holographic panels. The panels flickered with images, showing scenes of a world Eli had never seen. Cities floated above the ground, connected by beams of light. Ships flew across the skies, carrying people in strange suits that glowed faintly. Eli stepped closer. "Look at this," he said. "It's a record. The ship is preserving memories. It's showing the history of its creators." Tommy and Linda stared at the images. "These people, they're not human," Tommy said. "Their technology, it's incredible." Eli nodded. "Yes, and it makes sense why the ship is alive. It was built to remember, to protect knowledge, and it chose me because it knew I could understand it." He reached out and touched one of the panels. The holograms responded. Cities rearranged themselves, showing construction, work, and life. People moved in patterns, working together with machines in ways that Eli recognized. Even though the technology was alien, the logic was familiar. "See that?" Eli said. "They built everything carefully with understanding. It's not just about machines, it's about working with them, understanding them." Linda stepped closer. "Eli, do you think it's trying to communicate with us through these images?" "I think so," Eli said. "But it's not just communication. It's showing us how to work with it, how to awaken it fully. We need to learn from this, not just look at it." The ship pulsed again, brighter this time. The voice came calm and melodic. "Eli Morgan, you understand. You are ready to see more." Eli felt a shiver of excitement. "Yes," he whispered. "I want to see everything. Show me your memory. Show me your knowledge." Panels shifted, and a central area opened. A large holographic globe appeared in the middle of the room. Stars and planets rotated slowly, and lines of light connected them like a map. Eli realized that the ship was showing a network of worlds, perhaps the homes of its creators, or places it had visited. "This is incredible," Tommy said. "It's a map of the stars, but more than that, it's like it knows history, locations, maybe even events." Eli reached out and touched the globe. The lines of light responded, moving and reshaping themselves. Symbols appeared along the paths, and the ship's voice guided him. "Eli Morgan, understand the connections, see the patterns, learn the way of preservation." Eli studied the patterns carefully. He could feel the logic, the purpose. The ship was showing him how it had survived, how it had stored knowledge, and how it could share it with others. It was alive because it had a mission, a memory, and a mind. Linda moved closer, studying the holograms. "It's like it's teaching us. This knowledge, it could change everything." "Yes," Eli said, "but we have to respect it. We can't force it. We have to work with it, carefully. One mistake, and we could destroy all of this." Hours passed as Eli explored the chamber. He traced the paths of the stars, understood the energy flows, and followed the ship's guidance. The holograms shifted, showing more than just technology. They showed culture, philosophy, and care. The aliens who built this ship had not just been engineers. They had been thinkers, creators, and protectors. The ship pulsed again, brighter and warmer this time. The voice spoke clearly. "Eli Morgan, you see the way. You understand the preservation of knowledge. You will guide us to continue." Eli nodded. "Yes, I will guide you. I will help you share this knowledge with humanity. But first, we need to understand more." The ship responded with a series of lights and vibrations. Panels opened to reveal what looked like rooms filled with alien devices. Eli studied each one, tracing circuits, testing mechanisms, and watching as the ship's energy responded to his touch. It was teaching him how to repair, activate, and use its systems. Tommy and Linda followed, amazed by how naturally Eli moved with the technology. Tommy whispered to Linda, "I don't know how he does it. He's just old, but somehow he knows exactly what to do." Linda nodded. Experience. Knowledge that comes from doing, not from reading. He understands machines in a way that no textbook can teach. Eli worked carefully, never rushing. He understood that the ship's systems were delicate, even after centuries underwater. One wrong move could shut everything down. He traced wires, activated panels, and watched as the ship responded, its energy pulsing in harmony with his movements. Finally, Eli reached a central panel that seemed to be the core of the ship's memory. Symbols shifted and glowed, and a soft voice filled the chamber. "Eli Morgan, you are worthy. You understand the way. You will guide knowledge to survive." Eli felt a deep sense of responsibility. "Yes," he whispered. "I will do everything I can to protect this knowledge, to understand it, and to share it carefully." The ship's energy shifted again, flowing through the corridors like a river. The holographic maps showed connections between stars, planets, and civilizations. Eli realized that this ship was not just a wreck. It was a guardian, a vessel meant to preserve the knowledge of an entire civilization. Linda looked at Eli. "We need to document this. Every detail, every symbol, every pattern. Humanity needs to know what we have found." Eli shook his head. "Not yet. We must understand it first. If we rush, we could lose everything. This ship trusts me. I need to guide it carefully." Tommy nodded slowly. "I see that now. You really know what you're doing. I never thought a human could bring a ship like this to life." Eli smiled quietly. "It's not just me. It's humanity. We understand, we care, we fix, we preserve. That is why the ship responded. That is why it called me. But it could call anyone who respects it, who takes the time to understand." As the hours passed, Eli continued to explore. The ship showed him more of its memory, technology, star maps, energy systems, and even messages from its creators. Each discovery was more amazing than the last. He realized that humanity had only scratched the surface of what was possible. The ship's voice spoke again, gentle but firm. "Eli Morgan, you are ready. The knowledge is yours to guide, teach, preserve, and protect." Eli nodded. He felt a sense of awe and responsibility. This ship, this living memory of a lost civilization, had chosen him to awaken it, to understand it, and to help humanity learn from it. Linda and Tommy watched quietly, realizing that they were witnessing something extraordinary. They had doubted Eli at first, but now they could see the truth. This ship was alive. It had memory, intelligence, and purpose, and Eli Morgan, with his experience, patience, and understanding, had awakened it. As the ship's systems pulsed and the holographic maps shifted, Eli felt a connection unlike anything he had ever felt. He was no longer just a mechanic. He was a guardian, a guide, and a student of this incredible machine. The ship's energy filled the chamber, warm and steady, like a heartbeat. Eli knew that he had crossed a threshold. Humanity had discovered something beyond comprehension, and he was at the center of it. "This is only the beginning," Eli said softly. "We have much to learn, but together we can understand this ship, its memory, and its purpose, and maybe we can learn from it how to protect our own future." The ship pulsed one final time for the day, a gentle, rhythmic beat that echoed through the corridors. Eli understood that it was alive because it had purpose, memory, and the trust of a human who could understand it. He smiled quietly, exhausted but exhilarated. The ship's memory was vast, its knowledge incredible, and its potential limitless. And Eli Morgan, the old mechanic, was the one who could awaken it, guide it, and teach humanity the value of experience, patience, and understanding. Eli Morgan had spent days inside the ship, exploring every corridor, every panel, and every glowing symbol. The ship, which he had begun to call Aurora, had shown him incredible knowledge and technology, but Eli knew this was only the beginning. The ship's memory was vast, and humanity had only begun to understand it. Linda Harper and Tommy Green followed him closely, still amazed by what they had seen. They had started to trust Eli's intuition completely. It was clear now that experience and understanding mattered as much as technology itself. Computers could analyze data, but they could not feel, sense, or understand in the way Eli could. "This is amazing," Linda said quietly as they moved through one of the larger chambers. "I never thought a machine could have personality, or memory, or even care." Eli nodded. "It's not just a machine, Linda. It has purpose. It was built to preserve knowledge, to survive, and to guide whoever could awaken it. That's why it called me. It knew I could understand it." Tommy looked at Eli with awe. "I don't know how you do it. You're human, but you make it listen. Make it work. It's like you're speaking its language." Eli smiled. "It's not about language. It's about understanding. It's about care. You treat a machine like it's alive, and sometimes it responds." They reached another chamber, one filled with strange devices that pulsed with soft energy. Holograms flickered to life, showing alien cities, flying ships, and landscapes that seemed impossible. Eli traced his fingers over a control panel, and the holograms shifted, revealing star maps, energy flows, and transportation networks. "This is incredible," Tommy said, leaning closer. "These maps, they could teach us how to travel farther than we ever imagined." "Yes," Eli said, "but we have to be careful. Knowledge like this can be dangerous if misused. That's why the ship is alive. It guides, it tests, and it waits for the right hands." Linda nodded. "And it has chosen you." Eli felt a sense of responsibility settle on him. He knew the ship could do incredible things. Faster than light travel, energy manipulation, defenses stronger than anything on Earth. But he also knew that humans were not ready for all of it yet. They needed to learn carefully, step by step. The ship pulsed softly as if agreeing with him. Its voice spoke in a calm, melodic tone. "Eli Morgan, you are ready to guide. Humanity is ready to learn. Show them the way." Eli took a deep breath. "Yes, I will guide them. But we must do it carefully. One mistake, and we could lose this knowledge forever." The crew moved through the corridors, and Eli began showing them how to work with the ship. He touched panels, guided energy flows, and activated systems. Each time, the ship responded, glowing brighter and pulsing with energy. Tommy began to understand that this was more than technology. "It's like it's alive," he said. "It reacts to you, trusts you, even teaches you." Eli nodded. "That's right. Experience matters. Knowledge alone isn't enough. You have to understand, feel, and respect the machine. That's why it chose me." The ship showed them more of its memory. Alien technology, star networks, energy systems, and even cultural records. Eli realized that the aliens who built this ship had not only been engineers, but thinkers, philosophers, and teachers. They had built a ship to preserve their civilization's wisdom. "This is bigger than we imagined," Linda said. "This knowledge, it could change humanity." "Yes," Eli said, "but only if we use it wisely. We must respect the ship and what it has preserved. It is alive because it has purpose and understanding. We must learn from that." As the days passed, Eli taught Tommy and Linda how to interact with the ship. They learned to read the symbols, understand the energy flows, and follow the ship's guidance. The ship pulsed in response to their actions, showing that it could sense their understanding. One day, Eli guided them to a chamber filled with strange devices that looked like engines. He traced the mechanisms with his hands, and the ship responded with energy flows that illuminated the room. The devices began to hum, and Eli realized that they were propulsion systems, capable of incredible speeds. "These could take humans farther than we ever imagined," Eli said. "But we must understand them first. The ship is showing us, teaching us. We must listen carefully." Linda nodded. "And we will. With you guiding us, we can learn." Tommy added, "I never thought a human could bring a ship like this to life, but you did it." Eli smiled quietly. "It wasn't just me. It was understanding, patience, and respect. That's what brought it alive. That's what will help humanity learn from it." The ship pulsed again, brighter this time. Its voice spoke clearly. "Eli Morgan, show them the way. Humanity can learn, preserve knowledge, protect the future." Eli felt a surge of purpose. He understood now that he was not just a mechanic. He was a guide, a teacher, and a guardian of knowledge. The ship had chosen him for this reason, and he would not fail. Over the next days, Eli and the crew explored more of the ship. They discovered rooms filled with energy systems, propulsion mechanisms, and alien devices that could manipulate matter. The ship showed them how to activate systems safely, how to read patterns, and how to use energy efficiently. Tommy and Linda marveled at every discovery. They had never seen anything like this. Technology beyond human imagination, yet understandable in its logic. Eli guided them patiently, explaining each system in simple terms, helping them understand the reasoning behind the ship's design. "It's amazing," Linda said. "They were not just engineers. They were thinkers, philosophers, teachers. They built a ship to preserve everything about their civilization." "Yes," Eli said. "And now it's our responsibility to learn from it, to guide it, and to use its knowledge wisely." The ship's pulse grew stronger as if approving his words. It spoke again, calm and melodic. "Eli Morgan, humanity is ready. Teach, preserve, protect." Eli looked at Tommy and Linda. "We are ready. But we must be careful. This knowledge can help us, but it can also be dangerous. We need patience, respect, and understanding." The days turned into weeks as the crew learned from the ship. They understood energy systems, propulsion, and even defense mechanisms that humans had never imagined. Eli guided them carefully, ensuring that they respected the ship and its memory. One evening, Eli sat quietly in the central chamber, watching the holographic projections of stars and planets. He realized that humanity had a chance to grow, to learn, and to reach farther into the universe than ever before, but it would require patience, wisdom, and care. The ship pulsed gently, and its voice spoke softly. "Eli Morgan, you understand the way. Humanity can grow, protect knowledge, preserve life." Eli nodded. "Yes, we will. With your guidance, we can learn and teach. We can reach farther, understand more, and protect our future." Tommy and Linda watched silently, understanding the gravity of what Eli had said. They had learned that experience, understanding and respect mattered as much as technology itself, and Eli, the old mechanic, had shown them the way. As the horizon sailed on the surface, Eli continued to explore the ship with the crew. Aurora, the living ship, had begun to share its knowledge fully. It had chosen humanity as a species capable of understanding and preserving it. And Eli Morgan, with his experience, patience, and care, was the one who could guide humanity to learn from it. The ship's pulse filled the corridors, a steady rhythm that seemed alive. Eli knew that this was only the beginning. Humanity had discovered something incredible, and with guidance, respect, and understanding, they could use this knowledge to protect their future and explore the stars. For the first time in years, Eli felt a sense of hope stronger than any he had felt before. The ship was alive. It had memory, and it had chosen humanity to carry its knowledge forward. And Eli Morgan, the old mechanic, was at the center of it all, guiding the way. Eli Morgan stood in the central chamber of the ship, Aurora. The room glowed softly with the ship's energy, and the holographic maps of stars and planets shimmered in the air. Weeks had passed since they first entered the wreck, and the ship was now fully awake. Its systems pulsed in harmony, and its voice spoke clearly and calmly, no longer faint or whispering. Linda Harper and Tommy Green watched Eli with awe. They had grown in confidence, understanding more each day about the ship's technology. But they knew it was Eli's experience, patience, and respect that had guided Aurora to full awareness. "Eli," Linda said, her voice calm but filled with wonder, "I still can't believe it. It's alive, and it trusts you completely. I've never seen anything like this." Eli smiled quietly. "It's not just trust, it's understanding. It chose me because it knew I could understand it, care for it, and guide it. And now, it's ready to work with humanity." Tommy leaned closer to one of the holographic panels. "Do you really think humans are ready for this? Faster-than-light travel energy systems? All this technology?" Eli nodded slowly. "Not yet. But we are learning. Step by step. That's why Aurora is here. It will teach us, guide us, and show us the right way. If we respect it, if we take our time, we can use this knowledge to grow, to protect, and to explore." The ship pulsed, responding to Eli's words. "Eli Morgan, humanity can learn, guide them, protect knowledge, preserve life." Eli placed his hands on the central console. The ship's energy flowed through him, calm and steady. He felt its memory, its knowledge, and its purpose. It was alive in a way he had never imagined, yet it felt familiar, like a machine that had waited for the right hands. "Let's begin," Eli said quietly. "We need to show humanity what we have found, carefully and wisely." Over the next days, Eli and the crew worked to connect Aurora's systems to the horizon. Carefully, they began sending small amounts of data to Earth. Maps of stars, energy systems, and alien technology were shared slowly, tested, and verified. The Navy and scientific teams were amazed, but Eli insisted on caution. He knew the value of patience and understanding. Linda watched Eli work. "You really know what you're doing. You're not just guiding the ship. You're guiding humanity." Eli nodded. "Experience matters, Linda. Knowledge alone is not enough. You have to understand, respect, and work with what you have. That's why Aurora responded to me, and that's why it can help humans now." Tommy leaned back, exhausted but amazed. "I never thought a human could do this. Wake a ship like this. Teach humanity. You're incredible, Eli." Eli smiled quietly. "It's not about being incredible. It's about care, understanding, and patience. Anyone who respects knowledge and life could do the same. But we must always remember the responsibility that comes with it." The ship pulsed again, and the voice spoke warmly. "Eli Morgan, the knowledge is ready. Humanity can learn. Use it wisely." Eli looked at the holographic maps. The ship had shared detailed information about faster-than-light travel, energy systems, and defensive technology. It had shown pathways to distant planets and explained the principles behind its power sources. Humanity could now reach farther, understand more, and protect itself better than ever before. "This is incredible," Linda whispered. "We can explore the stars, protect our planet, and learn so much, all because of you, Eli." Eli shook his head. "It's not just me, it's humanity. We understand, we care, and we preserve. That's why Aurora responded. That's why it called us." The days turned into weeks as Eli guided the ship and humanity. Scientists and engineers learned from Aurora, following Eli's instructions carefully. The ship shared knowledge in a way that humans could understand, step by step. And with each lesson, humanity grew more capable, more confident, and more united. One morning, as the horizon sailed on calm waters, Eli stood in the central chamber, watching the stars projected above. Aurora pulsed gently around him, as if acknowledging his presence. "Eli Morgan, humanity is ready," the ship said. "The future is theirs to guide. Protect knowledge, preserve life." Eli felt a deep sense of pride and responsibility. "Yes, we will protect knowledge, we will learn, and we will explore the stars. But we must always remember to respect life, technology, and understanding." Linda and Tommy approached him quietly. "What happens next?" Tommy asked. Eli looked at them, calm and determined. "Next, we continue to learn. We share what we can, carefully and wisely, and we use it to protect humanity and explore the universe. Aurora has shown us that experience and understanding are just as important as technology." The ship pulsed again, and the holographic projections shifted, showing distant planets, alien civilizations, and energy flows. Eli traced the lines with his fingers, understanding the logic and patterns. He realized that humanity had been given a gift: knowledge, guidance, and the chance to grow beyond Earth. "This is only the beginning," Eli said quietly. "Aurora will guide us, but it is up to humanity to learn, respect, and use this knowledge wisely. We have the chance to be better, to reach farther, and to protect what we have." Linda nodded. "And with your guidance, Eli, we can do it. Humanity can rise to this challenge." Tommy smiled. "I still can't believe it. An old mechanic, teaching humanity to work with a living alien ship. It's incredible." Eli chuckled softly. "Sometimes experience matters more than youth. Sometimes understanding matters more than speed. And sometimes care matters more than knowledge alone." The ship pulsed warmly, as if agreeing with him. Its energy flowed through the corridors, filling the chambers, guiding, teaching, and preserving. Aurora was alive, and humanity was ready to learn. Over the next months, the world changed slowly but surely. Scientists, engineers, and leaders learned from Aurora, following Eli's careful guidance. Humans developed faster travel systems, cleaner energy sources, and stronger defenses. But they did so cautiously, with respect and understanding as Eli had taught them. Eli watched as humanity grew stronger, wiser, and more united. He realized that this was the true gift of Aurora, not just technology, but the lesson that experience, patience, and understanding could achieve what brute force or speed alone never could. One evening, as Eli stood in the central chamber, Aurora spoke softly. "Eli Morgan, thank you. You remembered what we built. You understood. You guided. Humanity can now grow and learn." Eli smiled quietly, touched by the words. "You're welcome, Aurora. It was my honor, and humanity will not fail. We will learn, we will grow, and we will protect what we have been given." The ship pulsed gently, and the holographic projections shimmered. Eli could see the stars, planets, and civilizations that Aurora had recorded. He understood now that humanity had been given a chance to rise, to explore, and to protect the future. Linda and Tommy joined him, quiet and respectful. "We've learned so much," Linda said softly, "and we've only just begun." Eli nodded. "Yes, and we will continue to learn, step by step, carefully, wisely, and with respect. That's the lesson Aurora has taught us." The ship pulsed again, a steady, rhythmic beat, like a heartbeat. Eli placed his hands on the central console and felt its energy flow through him. He knew that this was only the beginning. Humanity had the knowledge, the guidance, and the chance to rise above what they had known. Aurora's voice spoke one last time that evening. Eli Morgan, you have awakened us. You have guided humanity. Protect knowledge. Preserve life. Teach the way. Eli smiled quietly. Yes, we will. And we will never forget the lesson. Experience, patience, and understanding can achieve what force alone cannot. Humanity will rise, and we will honor this gift. As the horizon sailed under the stars, Eli looked at the glowing projections of Aurora. The ship had come alive because someone had understood it, cared for it, and respected it. And now, humanity had been given the chance to grow, explore, and protect the future. Eli Morgan, the old mechanic, had awakened a living ship. He had guided humanity to learn, to respect, and to reach farther than ever before. And the stars, once distant and unreachable, now felt closer, full of promise and possibility. The ship pulsed gently, lights shimmering in the dark, as if smiling. Eli knew that Aurora would always guide, always teach, and always protect, and humanity, under the guidance of experience, patience, and understanding, would rise to meet the challenges of the universe. For Eli, for Linda, for Tommy, and for all of humanity, the future had begun, and it was brighter than anyone could have imagined.